Get ready for the ultimate dose of inspiration and knowledge with the Give Me 5 podcast. Host Chris Gilmour shares actionable tips on a different topic each episode. Tune in now and elevate your life with Chris Gilmour.
Today is actually going to be a first quarter look of 2023 wrap up. So the summer wrap, we'll call this.
The review.
Yeah, and I've got all the numbers. We're going to run through all of these numbers, Josh, and I got some interesting facts here. So I couldn't memorize all of this, so we've got it all printed off here.
These are the numbers that everyone seems to be asking about at the moment.
Yeah, well, we're getting lots of questions, and let's talk about probably from what we're seeing as a wrap in the first quarter. So that was January, February, and March of 2023. What have you seen out there? I'll talk a bit about what I'm seeing, but we are probably getting the same questions. You know, where I'm starting to see more sellers come to market, right?
Yes.
I think they've missed the boat. But in saying that, if you are thinking of selling, today is going to be a better time to sell than
looking
later.
Looking at what you've uncovered, what we've looked at here, the idea of have they missed the boat? Well, this really depends on what context you want to put it into, really, isn't it?
Absolutely.
From what point to what point?
Yeah, because there are some really big numbers here.
There is
some extravagant numbers that we're looking at here. And some of these numbers are going to blow people's minds. They're probably not realizing how much real estate. And what we're talking about is Logan.
Yes.
Logan just in general. We're not talking about Brisbane City Council or any of those suburbs. This is pretty much Logan all the way down.
Where we do most of our business.
Yeah, absolutely. So, all right, well, let's roll into some numbers and then we'll roll into some of the questions.
What's our starting point?
Well, it depends where you want to go from, right? It's actually quite interesting. So where we look at here, so what I've done is I've gone from quarter 2 in 2021 all the way through until the end of quarter 1 in 2023. So I've got a couple of different, basically we've got all markets, right? So if we have a look here, right, at quarter 2 in 2021, which was during COVID.
So April,
May and June.
2 years ago.
2 years.
Yep.
Right? So, what we're about to head into now, this is going to be interesting to revisit at the end of the 3 months, at the end of the 90 days and have a look at but there was $984 million worth of real estate transactions done, right?
That's nearly $1 billion.
Correct. Yep. It's actually one of the lowest quarters, to be honest.
Okay.
With a median price of $475. Now, let's say the good old days. Try and find a property.
Way back when.
And we're only talking 2 years ago.
How many of those would you like to have bought now?
I know.
I'll take 10, please.
Absolutely. How many homes do you think sold just in Logan in those 3 months? Take a number. Pick a number. How many transactions for $984 million worth of real estate being sold?
Oh, is that 1,000?
Okay, yeah.
No, it'd have to be more than that, wouldn't it? It'd have to be more than that.
Yeah. So 1,804 properties were sold in that quarter.
Okay. Yeah, my on-the-run math skills.
Yeah.
I suppose that'd be easy enough to have worked out.
I'm pretty sure. Don't they call that amnesia or old age or whatever? Dementia or I don't know.
Senility.
Yeah. So no point telling you. You're only going to forget anyway. What do you reckon the highest sale price was for the quarter?
This is just residential property?
No. So the numbers that we get, this is everything. There can be some development in there as well.
I would have said maybe $1.5 million.
Yeah,
maybe.
Nowhere near it, mate. So it was just over 5 million was the highest sale made in the quarter. In some place here in Logan.
Okay,
somewhere.
So that might be a commercial property.
I would be guessing
or
it
a
was
development site or something like that.
Absolutely. Yeah. All right. Then if we go to quarter 3 of 2021, we'll roll through these kind of quick. We had $1.184 billion worth of real estate sold. So, a substantial a lot more.
Yes.
For 2,028 properties sold in that quarter. So we hit over 2,000 homes sold with the median growing $25,000. So it was a $500,000 medium sale price.
Yes.
For June, July, August, and September in 2021. The highest sale was 6.6 million. If we look at the final quarter for 2021, as things generally for us ramp up, there was
The last quarter of 2021, it was hot there. It was smoke.
like,
it was well and truly in gangbusters.
Yeah, this is where all the interstate buys were coming up.
Yeah.
They were buying sight unseen. And the numbers reflect that. Look at this.
Yeah.
Like, this is nuts. So for the quarter three, there was 5.3% growth in property prices. But in the final quarter of 2021, this was staggering. So $1.355 billion worth of real estate sold in the quarter.
Yep.
Right. So again, an increase. It is still today the highest, even up until today.
Yeah.
So no other
So
quarter.
that was the peak
That
as
was the
far
peak.
as far as volume.
Correct.
Volume goes.
With the median sale price now at $565,000.
So that jumped up over 10%
Yeah.
in that quarter.
13% to be exact.
Yeah.
Was the actual number. The highest sale wasn't the highest. It was 5.9 million.
Okay.
But transaction-wise, it is also the highest as well. So all the numbers are stacking
So it was
up.
2000 and something there before?
2028.
2028, and what was it there?
2058. So it was 30 more.
Okay.
So not a substantial amount. A lot more.
Okay.
However, 13% growth in a quarter, taking the median from 500,000 to 565,000, which was out of control. Now, let's talk about quarter.
Hang on. Those numbers kind of take some of the weight out of the argument that all of that was caused by a lack of stock then, doesn't it? When you've got that number of properties being sold, where, you know, the argument of prices are so high because there's nothing for people to buy, that kind of blows that argument out the door.
Yeah, well, there was more homes sold in that quarter than any other quarter over the last, 2 years?
Certainly through that whole period. Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yep, so out of 12 quarters, it's the highest.
Okay.
Okay. Now, January, February, March, Christmas period's finished, holiday period. It's now 2022.
It was still going it was still cracking pretty hard at that stage.
It was 1.154 billion worth of real estate.
So down just a little bit down in the total total number.
The count though, 1,619. So we're down about 500 transactions. But
that's almost 25%. It's down maybe 20% in total numbers.
It's probably 22, 23%.
Yeah.
However, our median went from 565 to 617,000. So another 9.3% increase in property price over the 3 months.
Yeah, no, that probably felt right.
And it is also the biggest, or the quarter that had the highest sale and still holds that highest sale today.
Which was how much?
$7.6 million.
Yeah, okay.
It's getting up there now. So we probably should know what they sort of are. I'm guessing they're going to be large land parcels, development, commercial.
That could almost be that block across the road from the shed.
It might have been that land parcel that was in North Maclean, the big development.
Could be.
So
Could
we
be.
can look in. You should look into that. I've done
We'll
my
go and
research.
research and let you know.
I've done my research. My research you brought. This is what I do, mate. I'm a numbers man. All right, so let's while we're talking quarter one of 2022, let's talk about quarter one 2023. So there's a direct impact of what has happened in that year, and then I'll fill in the gaps. So this here is dramatically different, to almost to the point where you're like, hang on, has all the data come through? So we really do need to revisit this, because I don't believe these numbers.
Okay.
Right? These are the numbers that have been collated, right? So there's 41
So
million.
this is what's come through to us at this stage.
At this stage. So
Okay.
I'm going to be guessing that there is still a massive lag.
Yep.
Okay? Because it's saying we've only had 67 sales. Well, our company's had more
Well,
than
we
that.
know that some agents hold the numbers back for whatever their reasons
Yeah,
are.
I know, but-
There's a lot of that happens.
There is. So I don't really want to talk about the count or the amount of, because there's only 41 million, right? However,
what's the median number? That's
the
probably
median is
one.
now at 600. It's a drop of 3.6%. Okay, so we're now back in the red.
So that's it from 12 months ago, 3.6% decrease.
No. We've skipped the quarters in between. So
Okay.
if you want to go 2022, the median then went to 635 with a 2.8% increase.
Okay.
Over April, May, and June. Remember, this was just after some floods, wasn't it?
Yeah, well, that's, I don't know like how much of an effect it played, but certainly, we had the beginning of the Ukraine situation
Yeah.
and all of that, and
Yeah.
then the floods, and that seemed to be that was the point where
Yeah.
it seemed to stop in its tracks,
Yep.
right around the floods.
But the interesting thing that you can see here, Josh, is like end of quarter 2021, 2,058 properties
Yes.
sold. 1,619 the quarter after.
Yes.
1,522 the quarter after. 1,450 over the quarter.
Dropping
1,232.
like a stone.
Okay, so the same year, if you go quarter four, 2022, so we've just come out of the Christmas period, right?
Okay.
There was 1,232 properties sold as opposed to 2,058 the year before. That's 800 homes less.
Yeah,
over
it's
a quarter.
not half, but it's well headed in that direction.
Absolutely.
Isn't it?
Now, we had the largest at $1.35 billion worth of real estate sold, now down to 844,000. That's like a 40% drop
Yeah.
when you look at the numbers. Now, if we take the quarter three to quarter two of quarter three of 2021 to quarter two of 2022, we had a 30.4% increase in property prices in Logan.
That's crazy.
30.4%. Your property went up 30.4%. And that could be a whole new podcast. What are you doing with that equity? Everyone has just made instant money on their home. Like we all just got our land value rates, one of my investments in Regent's Park that we know about, that went up 75,000 in the year. So there was a 30.4% increase in that time. But since July last year, quarter three, we've been in the red. We're going backwards. So anyone that's saying that the market is still strong, the market's pumping along, well, there's less homes selling and property prices, the numbers don't lie. We know that in real estate. Numbers at the end of the day do not lie. And
ultimately, it tells the story, doesn't it?
It does, and we've dropped 5.6%. So it's not all doom and gloom. Your property is still worth 25% more than what it was 2 years
See, and what's
ago.
interesting, so that's if that averages out at 5.6%, then we know in some of the areas that we work, it's 12, 13%.
Correct. So
does that mean that
we believe Greenbank's down 13%. But
agreed?
It's reflective of property prices. See, this is a whole of Logan. Right?
Yeah.
We're
So does that mean that there's some places, if it's an average of 5.6 and we know there's some areas where it's 12, 13%, there has to be some areas where the prices haven't gone down
Correct.
at all.
Absolutely.
Or property hasn't sold at all, therefore they're not actually showing a drop.
Well, it's going to be interesting because the median is now back down to 600,000. Okay, so the peak was 635.
But still,
But it started at 475.
That's it. Think about that for a second. So after all of this, the washout of it right now, median house price in Logan City is $600,000.
Yes, which is $125,000.
And people are saying it's all doom and gloom.
But where's it going to end? That's the big question.
How far back can it go?
I believe it's going to be a lot more. The numbers, you can clearly see the numbers.
It went up by 30%. How much more can it come back? There's clearly plenty of room for it to come back.
We're already saying, like, if we talk, Greenbank, these higher end acreage suburbs that are in Logan, we know that they're down 13%.
Yeah.
We already know that. We were getting 1, 2, 1, 3 for these properties. We're now lucky to get 1 million, 1, 1. So that the numbers are not lying. We go from 1.355 billion down to 844,000. I guarantee when all of this data for quarter one does actually trickle through and catch up, I reckon we're probably going to be sitting at 700, maybe 1,000. I reckon it's almost halved.
Yeah.
the number's going to be half.
But there's a good chance the median will remain the same. Yes, there'll be more sales number, more volume, total volume, but the median price will probably stay much similar to where it is.
Because
that's how median kind of works.
It does, but I think quarter two, I think we're going to drop back in the fives.
Yeah.
I really do.
Yep.
So
well, that's if you look at that the way that it's heading. Absolutely.
You know, it's all the numbers are pointing down.
And it's all that you could if you put a graph of that on the wall, and imagine if you put a graph of that on the wall,
they had it in CSI like 30 years ago. Like where's that touch screen?
If you did an overlay of people's borrowing capacity relevant to the interest rates, it'd be interesting to see how similar those lines are.
Together. Absolutely, we've had 11 in a row.
As I said, I think we talked the last time that when I spoke with my own broker, when I checked in with him recently, he said that it averages out to around 32% that people's borrowing capacity has been reduced since the beginning of the rate rises.
Yeah, wow.
That's their the averages out of people's borrowing capacity with the changes based on typical the base $600,000 medium average mortgage. It's about 32% is what people's borrowing capacity has been reduced.
Do you think it's other external factors? Like we've had, obviously Silicon Bank in the States, we've had Swiss, we've had all of this talk and media hype around banks. Your cash is no good. Banks are now folding. Still got stuff going on with Ukraine. Now we're spending $400 billion on 12 submarines that are going to get delivered in 30 years when the war's probably finished. Like, do you think all that? Do you think people are scared?
There's always factors, and I think if you go back and have a look through the real guts of the COVID period, I mean, realistically, if you go back and have a look at when COVID hit, when it first started, and everyone went into panic mode.
Yep.
There was a significant drop in the number of properties that came to market, wasn't there?
Correct.
Because people just went, we don't know what's going to happen. Just batten down the hatches, sit tight.
Let the dust settle.
But then they dropped the interest rates, free money, people started spending, and off it went again. Like there was a moment in time there where the statement of, hey, there's a shortage of stock available was accurate.
Yep.
But as you can clearly see through those numbers, there was a point there where that was completely not the case.
Correct.
So
that was very early COVID.
But the frenzy, that's it. But the frenzy got going, and that's it. Things get going, and you can get to the point where it just keeps going, kind of based on nothing.
Yeah.
Kind of based on nothing, So
look at the hype around toilet paper.
Well, that's the whole thing of you've got the driving market forces.
Yeah.
Sure, to get things going in a direction, but once things get going in a direction, hype and sometimes hysteria takes over. That's it. Look at there. Things got going, and all of a sudden, the media started going, everyone's making a fortune out of trading houses. So everyone jumped in and started doing it. Now the media goes the other way as well and starts going, the sky is falling, so there's all these factors.
They control the narrative, and but at the end of the day,
these are what's really
real
happening.
Numbers. This is Logan. We live and breathe this every day. We can get the data. We want to deliver the right data so people can make the right decision. But again, the data doesn't matter, mate. Because at the end of the day, if you need to move, you move.
You need to move.
Right? And as long as you are, and like we'll always say in real estate, as long as you're in the game and you're not watching from the sidelines, no matter what the market does, you're in the game. You know what I mean? So if we sell today and the market's down 5.6%.
If you go buy something else, it's probably down a similar
unless
amount.
You're downgrading, right? If you're downgrading, you're probably going to buy a lot less for your money and stuff. But if you're upgrading,
of course,
that property, if it's dropped 5.6% and you're upgrading, you're actually buying more with your money.
Yes.
So it is all relative. I think a lot of the speculation or a lot of the talk out with property prices is purely just based on rates. I don't think it's the submarines. I don't think it's the bank in America. I don't think it's those external factors. I honestly just think it is people's borrowing capacity.
People can't afford to spend as much on a house today as they could 12 months ago. It's that easy. That easy.
All these gyms in Sydney.
Yeah.
You know, they're starting to close down these gyms because, you know.
I was noticing an article that I saw online there about, I think it was in Sydney, maybe Canberra, where there was a chain of like upmarket, like spin cycle studios, all of which have gone broke, and
they were doomed to begin.
Well, that's but the talk.
When was the last time you did a
spin?
No,
but I don't spin, but that's just me. But the whole thing about whether it's those things that people are going to do away with first, as we talked about last time, the $7 coffees. Look, we're drinking the good in-house.
Oh mate, apparently our in-house coffee machine is not good for the new staff that have arrived. They are European. They
have expectations.
They do, and so we sent them on our way to another coffee shop, and they said, it's average.
Again, shout out to Zarafas.
So keep going to Zarafas or Coffee Club. They sponsor the Brisbane Bullets like us, so we always eat there anyway. But look, the numbers don't lie. So to the listeners listening to this or watching on YouTube
which way is the market going, Chris?
Well, the market's going down.
Yeah.
It's simple fact. We're back in the red again.
Yeah.
Like, we've had all this growth, and that's totally normal.
It's a correction.
If you had told me that you could buy for $475, medium in Logan somewhere, I would have gone and brought 3-4 of them. Now it's at $600. Now I can only buy 2. You know what I mean? I should have brought 10 of those homes 10 years ago. You know what I mean? We're going through one of those cycles again.
Yep.
That's all it is.
And the question is, 5 years from now, what will it be? Will it be 700? Who knows?
I got no doubt it is.
Who knows? But certainly.
Well, I thought you knew everything. You tell everyone you do.
After this correction, there has to be a point where it then turns again and starts to go back up.
So, and that's what we always say. The only way that you're at the bottom of the market is when it goes.
Is looking back.
Is when it's going up, and then you can look back and go, 2 weeks ago was the bottom of the market.
Yeah.
Well, you didn't pick it then.
Like, it's pretty easy now to say the absolute peak was right around the floods.
The peak was Q4 2021. Right? So my thing for property owners is you can't live in the past. That's what the prices were back then. This is what the prices are today.
And that's what we're seeing, is that there's a little bit of that still going on that we've got sellers.
Aren't we just
and look, it's human nature, I guess. It's understandable, isn't it? Maybe there's going to be someone out there that'll pay me the sort of money that, like, okay,
we get asked that every day.
Rebellions are built on hope.
Can you find the needle in the haystack of the one person in Australia that is looking for my home that's going to pay me this money? Yeah, okay, we're good, but we're not magicians. You know what I mean? And
the problem is, if they've got that money to spend, there's something else out there that they can buy with that exact same amount of money that's better than what that person.
Correct.
Has. That's what it comes down to.
But we spoke about this, like, you've been my Uber driver all day, right? So, Mr. Uber. And I'm only going to give you like 3-star because you didn't even turn the radio on, right? There was no free bottles of water, and your phone charger would connect to your car.
Free water with your face on.
Yeah, it was rolling around in your back seat, man. Like, how long had it been in there? Like, you can't leave water bottles in a car in plastic. Anyway, long story. Getting some work done on the Audi, and so I've got an Uber driver called Josh.
Okay.
But we spoke about it because I'm like, I think I made the comment, I'm like, 2 more days, hopefully my home goes unconditional. And you're like, gee, didn't you have the dream run? And I'm like, yeah, you did. Here's the home.
Absolutely.
And we spoke about this exactly because we'd just come from a property inspection. And we just got this resistance with our seller going, I want this, I want this, I want this.
I'm fixated on this price.
I want this price. And we're like, well, hang on a minute. You've had 38 groups for an example, and you've had 15 offers. And the best is 50,000 away from what you keep saying you want.
Yeah. And those offers are all within that much of each other.
Within 1% of each other.
Yeah. That's where the market sees that property at this time.
Absolutely. And we spoke about that. Like, if we're chasing, like, let's go the Holy Grail now as $1 million, right? Let's just say in Logan, you can get $1 million property now quite easily. But what is the buyer's expectation on that? Like, is it cobwebs in the corner? Is it
No.
Is it the green swimming pool? Is it the paint's peeling off in the bathroom? Like,
If you're spending $1 million, it needs to be.
but I think sellers have forgotten that because we've just gone through this bullshit market where,
Yeah.
you know what?
Chuck it out there and some.
Some Sydney buyer's just going to go, you know what? I'm not even going to fly up. I'm just going to
Yeah.
pay you $1 million for your
Yeah.
shithole. Like,
Yeah.
the principle of selling real estate.
Go and buy a property. No, go to Brisbane and buy two.
The great dream. And we love our Sydney buyers. Like, they've driven our market completely. Like, it's been great, but this is more on the seller's expectation is at the end of the day, the market is going to determine the market. And if we're in a falling market, your price was there.
Yeah.
But you didn't sell at that time.
Yeah.
But you're still at your expectation is still at that money.
Yeah.
And and I think that's why we're starting to see a little bit more hurt out there because the buyers, they're not now playing the game. Well, one, they can't get the money. You know what I mean?
That's the biggest
But
one.
They
That is
don't
the
want to
biggest
do the
one.
work. No one wants to do the work. I'm paying $1 million for a home. I expect that home.
That you
To be immaculate.
walk into it
Come on.
and there's nothing to do.
Absolutely. And we did the same with your property. Now, it's a complete different price,
Yes.
your property that you've just sold. But the principle and the fundamentals is exactly the same. You even said it. You could have sold the home how it was.
Yes.
But for a little bit of extra money,
A
not a lot,
little bit of extra spend on the staging
some
aspect
staging,
part of it. Yeah.
added some plants, some mirrors, some artwork, some rugs, some simple shit, right? You then looked at the highest sale for the complex and went, you know what? I'm actually going to price my home, which is better, less than the highest sale price of this.
Yes.
Okay, which takes a lot of balls to do.
We
There's a lot of-
dropped the price.
dropped it
We
by
actually
10.
opted to drop it right before we launched it.
Before we launched, we dropped it. We had that chat. You and Megan dropping another 10 from what you were originally going to put
Yep.
it on at. And we're sitting there in the car today talking, and we're laughing. You're like, you're on the market for 4 days. You sold for $41,000 over. You took a lower offer because the conditions were better. Building Pest has gone through. It was cash. It is now unconditional. And bugger me dead, you've forgotten about it because it's done.
And the funny part is, it's exactly what we tell people. It's exactly what we go in every day and recommend, isn't it?
You
Like,
want a premium.
that's-
It has
Yeah.
to look like a premium home.
yeah.
And build value in that. You know what I mean? So like,
You got to believe in you ultimately got to believe in the process, don't you? That this is the way that it's a process and it's a step-by-step thing. And if you execute the process
Absolutely.
properly,
Well,
it's
but that
very
shouldn't be the case, Josh.
very straightforward.
The numbers are telling us the market is down. You have just set a complex record.
Suburb record.
S-
Suburb record.
Didn't even know.
Yeah,
So
no,
a suburb record
that's the highest price in the
in the
suburb
market,
ever. Yeah.
where we've just gone through that the peak of the market was 2021, October, November, and December. But you followed the process. So, if you are selling, you're thinking of selling, walk around your home. I always say, if it looks like shit, smells like shit, tastes like shit, it probably is shit. Right? Clean your home up.
Or
Am I getting a bit rough?
if you want a premium price, you've got to present a premium product,
Of course.
or a premium feel. Like, you've
Well,
got
that's
to
easily
do
done.
everything in your power to present the property. Like,
Yep.
if you want to get a better price, it's the property's got to either be better or at the very least present and feel better.
Yeah, but what did you do? There was a bit of paint in the roof.
Went
You
round
got
and
that
tidied
done.
up a little bit
Right.
of paintwork that needed
Bit
to be
of
done.
silicon here,
Yep.
bit of whatever.
Yep.
Yeah.
Got someone to come in and perfectly trim the hedges and things so as they were clean.
Yeah.
Staged it.
Yeah, and it was only
the,
a small stage.
Spent the right money on our level of photography and video and all, just did it right.
It just blows me away that we're coming into a market where it's getting harder. Sellers' expectations really high, but they're delivering us shit products and their expectation. And it's not just our sellers.
Yeah.
It's the market. Like, we're seeing every home that comes to the market in Logan, And
I guess it comes down to a pretty simple thing at the end of the day, is that if your expectation is that you want to get the absolute highest, best premium, best result and outcome, as a seller, are you actually doing everything in your power to make sure, like, are you doing your bit to facilitate that in the way that the house is prepared, presented, and all of those things, rather than just going, here it is exactly as it is, I've done nothing with it, but I want you to get me that premium outcome. You know, at some point you've got to look at it and say, have you actually played your role and done your bit in achieving the outcome that you want? Like, because we can only do so much.
That's right. But I'm not paid to pick up dog shit in the backyard.
No.
Before an inspection or an open home.
No.
Like, you know, simple common sense stuff like that. Like, just, you know what I mean? I just think some people have forgotten, everyone's just paying stupid money for prices. Well, they're not. It's coming back to a normal market.
If you want to think that you've got a home that's worth $1 million, it's $1 million.
In Logan.
It's $1 million.
You know?
Yeah, like
it's you know, and there's nothing against Logan.
Buyers are going to have a certain high level of expectation of what they should be getting for that money.
Absolutely. So well, there you go. There's our summer wrap.
There you go. That's a wrap.
That was a really bad part, man. Like, yeah, it's not too bad, but we're still talking. So you're not meant to do that until you actually finish the program, mate. Have you not learnt anything on this show?
I'm a beginner.
Where do we pick up these beginners from? Like, come on, like.
All right.
Where did we find you?
Huh?
Oh, we should probably. We probably should explain. We shaved our heads.
Yes, we did.
So everyone's
we did
probably
the greatest shave.
World's greatest shave.
Yes.
We did for leukemia. We raised some money, and thank you to all those.
And we got rid of some grey hair at the same time.
Yeah.
Both of us.
Yeah. So I went the full sort of shave, blade one. I wasn't going completely bald. I wanted to look sort of respectable. But that was kind of cool.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, there was about 12, 13 of us. Some of the girls got their hair coloured, and I think Andrew was the bravest. Andrew had hair down to probably just past his shoulders, and he shaved the whole thing.
We got some video and stuff of that, didn't we?
Yeah.
Maybe we can link it into the back end of this video, possibly.
Yeah, we
could. We'll get the tech people to do that.
Yeah, big shout out to Soul Cuts.
Yes.
You know, they rocked up. So anyone that doesn't know Soul Cuts, look them up on social. They were on...
Barbers, singers, entertainers.
They were on
the whole thing.
X Factor. They were, back in the day.
Is that right?
Yeah, they were. They didn't win, unfortunately. So, but they're singing barbers, and they sung some tunes.
Can catch them at, where's that? Like Eat Street out Hamilton. They're out there quite a bit.
Yeah, Logan Diggers. Like they're all
they're
the way
everywhere,
through
really,
here
aren't
in
they?
Logan.
Yeah.
So we got them for our work party. So some entertainment. So, but anyway, guys, there is our Logan
wrap. The summer wrap.
Yeah. So we're gonna do autumn, winter,
all of it.
What else is there?
As things, well, you can do.
There's 4 seasons, isn't there? Spring. Yeah, spring.
That's a way off.
Yeah, that's July, August, September, isn't it?
Something like that.
They say spring's the best time to sell. It's a lot of shit.
September,
The numbers
October. September, October, November.
September, October, November.
Yeah,
When's summer?
spring. December, January, February.
Oh, yeah. Why didn't they just make it as per like the quarter? It would have been so much easier. January, February, March, bang, done. Bang, 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 done. It would have been so much easier to remember. Anyway. All right.
Pretty sure the seasons are around before the calendar.
I don't care. So I just like summer. I hate winter. So there you go, guys. There's another episode of the Give Me 5 podcast. Thanks for coming on again, Josh. And hope you got a lot
Thanks for hanging with us.
Info and some relevance there. That is for every homeowner here in Logan. So thanks for tuning in. If you've got any questions, shoot us a private message or a DM on Insta or wherever you're watching this. Yeah,
give us a call.
Thanks for watching.
Guys.